Hello, good evening, everybody. Let us go through very quickly how can you create Google Forms which contains both multiple choice questions as well as short questions or subjective questions in one paper itself. So for that, first let us go to Google Applications. If you see here, I have something called as Google Docs. So this is the area where I can create my Google Forms. So in order to create Google Forms, you should be signing in with your Gmail account. Then go to Google Docs and it opens up the Google document page. If you see here, this is Google Docs, but then we need forms. So what we do here is we go to the right hand corner, left hand side out here, where from here we select the Google Forms page. So I click here and here I have an option to select forms, so I click on forms. Once I click on forms, it opens up my Google form. I click on the blank form because I want to create from start, so I click on blank forms. I will show you some 3 steps, which is very simple steps, and all you follow these steps to create your Google Forms. And then second step will be how do you create the link, and the final step is how do you send the link to exam department. Let's call this title as Term and Test for IMC. I create this name. At the same time, there's an untitled form out here, give the same name to this. Now since I'm creating an MCQs, the first thing very important is go to the settings part out here, the settings page out here. This is the area where I'll have to say that this form is basically a MCQ forms. So I click on settings. I go to the third tab called as quizzes and I click this and say make this as a quiz. Now whether I want to release grade immediately after submissions, I leave it up to you to decide, but I leave it right now. I'm taking it as a letter for manual review. I click on save. So first thing it says that students should have to enter their email address. Now I'll create my own questions. So my first question is, what are the types of IMC? So the options are channels, distributors, then retailers. Please note, if you have a Word document with IMCs, you can do a copy paste as well. When you copy the questions, it pastes the questions, and when you select all the options from your Word document and then paste it here, it creates those options as well. Once I have done this, then given the options, I have to select which is the answer key. I say the answer key, it is going to carry 1 point for this MCQ, and the answer key is channels. This is done. First MCQ is done. Questions created, channels created, and then there are 3 dots out here. Please make a note. Now these 3 dots are the place where I will have to choose to make the options to be shuffled. So I'll go to these 3 dots, click here, and then say shuffle options. So for each multiple choice question, you will have to go to these 3 dots and then create shuffle options. Then only this will shuffle the options for all the students. Point number 1. I'll create one more multiple choice. To create one more multiple choice, I just click on add question, the plus button out here. I click on add question, and there is another multiple choice. So let's say what are the key element in brand equity, something like that. Again, I have multiple options. I create option, I create another option, I create another option, something like that. And then I say that shuffle this answer key. So what is the right answer to this question? I say this is the right answer to this question, and I give 1 mark out here. I click done, and then I go to the 3 dots and then click shuffle option. So by this you can create as much as multiple choice questions you want. Since I've created 2 MCQs, there are 2 points out here. If you create 15 MCQs, you will have 15 points. Now if I say that I have to create another question which is going to be subjective types. So I'll say that explain the advantage of celebrity endorsement. Celebrity endorsement. And I can convert this into a short answer or a paragraph answer. You can select whichever you like. And when you click on this three dots, there is no shuffle options out here. It's just purely description. So student can answer this. You can give an answer key if you want, because since these are all short answers, you can give an answer feedback. If you want to have certain words to those answers, you can do that, or leave it as 5 points question. So I just leave it as a 5-point question. Student will know that for the short answer you get 5 points. So by this, there's a combination of both MCQs as well as short questions, which we call it as subjective questions. So one question paper which contains both MCQs as well as short questions. So this one format is good enough. Now let me show you one tricky thing. I create an add question and I say here that enter the security code. Now why I'm doing this is, when the link is sent to students, some students, for them the link will open up immediately. For some, because of the internet connectivity, it will not open so fast. So इसमें क्या होता है कि the students who have opened this, they get an advantage. They see the questions and they might start sending it to their friends. But if I put the security code, what happens is, I'll wait till all the students have opened the link and they are seeing enter the security code as the first mandatory thing. Once I assure that everybody's link is open, then only I release this code. So the security code is, let's say I give a security code as, let me give a security code out here for the short answer, and I make this as response validation. So I say the security code out here is short answer 1, and I say that it is number which is equal to, and I give a number, and I say the number is, let's take a number as 111, and then the custom error, right? Enter the right code. So the code is 111. People should enter the security code 111, and I make this as a required field. And then I move this tab up here straight to the first. You can actually create this as the first question, so you don't really need to move this tab upwards, not required. I just take this upwards a bit, and there I am. Now after this, what I do is I very quickly create something called as a section. So I create a section. So now a section is created. Section 1 is you have to write your email address and enter the code, and section 2 is basically the IMC QP. That's it. Very quickly I have created a question paper which has MCQs as well as short questions. Let me click on preview to show you how this looks when the students will click on the link. When the students will click on the link, if you see here, it is showing only the first section, which means they have to write their email address, write the code, and I will release the code exactly the time when I know every student have clicked on the link and they are seeing this particular page. If they try to enter some code like this on their own, it says that enter the right code. Very simple. So wait till the time everyone has arrived at this particular page, and then give them the code. They enter the code, they click next, and the next is the second section which has MCQs and short questions, and they will submit. That is as simple as that for creating Google Forms. So once I have created this Google Forms, what you have to do is, the next step is go back to the settings. So let's go to the settings out here. I click on settings. As I said in my training that you don't have to checkbox anything of this. Request sign in, limit to 1 response. You can do that if you want to. There is no presentations. So show link to submit another response. uncheck this so that no other response will happen. Quizzes, make this as a quiz, then only it will calculate the scores. If it is only MCQs without any subjective, then I suggest you to click on immediately release after each submission. Remove all these tabs, and click on save. Done, our work is over. After this, I go to send button. So when I click on send button, here's where I generate this link. This is the place where it generates the link for me. When I click on this small button out here, you can see there's a small button out here. This is the one where I have to click and select the link. So I click this link, and here's the link which has to be sent to examination department. I will say shorten the URL and copy this link. The link is copied. And now I can go to my email address, paste the link there, or maybe you paste this link in some Word document as question paper 1, and this is the link. And then this link can be now sent to the exam department. Exam department will post this link in the Google Classroom for the students. So they will post this in Google Classroom for the students. How they will post? So now let's assume that I am the exam department. So I go to my Google Classroom. Let's say Professor Ramanan Bala has sent me this link, and the exam starts now at around 4:15. So as an exam department, I enter the class. I have two links. I can select any one of the link to post. I go to the classroom which has been created for all the students who are attending today IMC class, and here I just click on stream and then say, dear students, to access the question paper, please click the link below. Oh, there it is, and I paste the link. The link is pasted. Exam department will post. 4:15 the class starts. All the students are there in the classroom. They have got this form link. Now the student will click on this form link. When they click on this form link, ladies and gentlemen, this form is opens up for the students. If you see here, the title, term and exam, the first page, so neatly appearing. So the student will type in his email address, and then he'll wait till the code is given to them. Then I release the code once I know all the students are there. I can post the code in JD Shola training in the classroom itself. Once I know all the students are there, they will enter the code. So here you are ensured that the link is open to all the students. Nobody is complaining, saying that mera link nahi khul raha hai, mera net slow hai. Wait, and then click next, and that's it. Student starts answering the questions, and finally we click on submit button. So this is an end-to-end step of how you create a Google form which contains both MCQ and subjective, one paper, send the link to the exam department, and I also showed you how exam department can upload the link. If exam department is asking for 2 sets, then create 2 different question papers, send 2 links to the exam department, and the exam department can pick any one link and post it at the time of the exam. This is a small, simple video. I hope this will help you when you create your own Google Forms. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye. See you. Now the second step, once all the questions have been answered, all the students have clicked on submit button and they have submitted their question papers with answers. Once this is done, and you know after 2 hours the examination is over, since you are the owner of this Google form, you click on the Google form as an owner, and here you see the response tab. So if you have 60 students in your class, you will see in the response tab saying 60 responses have been received. Once you have received all the responses, you click on the response tab, and here's where you will have all the responses of the students or the marks which you can then assign it here for subjective. Once you have assigned the responses with the marks, you can export this into Excel. So this entire responses can then be exported back into Excel. So when you open this in an Excel sheet, you will have the email address of the student, you will have the marks which you have given to them, the total marks out of 50, and that becomes your Excel record of what grades and marks students have received. So you as the owner, when you open up the Google Sheet, you as the owner, you will see this response tab which contains all the students, their responses. In case you have said that post the results automatically for MCQs, then of course the marks are calculated for MCQs, but since the question paper has subjective also, that means you have to physically correct these papers, do the markings, and then export this into Excel. So that's the only step post the question papers are answered, and that is what is how you correct your answer papers in Google Forms. Thank you very much.